Ah, Drifter, you made it in here. This was supposed to be um, another stream. Had it all set up, and then it wouldn't work, so I had to switch over to here. And I think there were some folks waiting over at the other one. Don't know if they're going to make it in or not. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? Oh, you're getting pretty good at getting into these lives on time instead of having to see them later. Oh, me. You waiting to see if I'm going to give away some more peanuts? Summer's coming. So's a peanut giveaway. Oh, me. I sure hope the rest of this stream goes okay, because I've had nothing but technical difficulties trying to get it going to start with. Let's give folks a little bit of time to get in here, seeing as how they're probably still over at the other one hunting for me. Oh, so this time of year, are you up in Michigan or are you in Oklahoma or Texas? I can't remember which. Hey, Mary Grace, how are you doing? So far, all consist of you, me, and Drifter. Buffering, but not too bad. How's it buffering on you? How's it looking on you, Mary Grace? You can't be in Texas and Michigan at the same time, Drifter. I know you got a place in both areas. I was just wondering where you were this time of year. I was all set up to do an interesting lead in on this thing until had technical difficulties on the stream and had to start a new one. I'll still do the same topic, but I don't know if I'm going to do the lead in. We get a few more people in here. It says there's 4 in here. That's Mary Grace, Drifter, me. That's 3. Somebody else is out there. Somebody's lurking in the shadows. Dave and Darcy had gotten to the other stream, and then I typed them a message that had to start a new one over here. Don't know if they made it over here yet or not, but somebody else is in here because there's 4. Michigan, unfortunately. Oh, me. Which one of the live streams did you start off with, Mary Grace? Because I had one all set up, had an interesting title on it and all that sort of thing, and then it wouldn't start. I couldn't get it to run. So right before time, I had to run get this other one started. Um, which one did you go to the other one first, or did you come straight into here? Oh, okay. I have no idea how many people are sitting over there at the other one. I know Dave and Darcy were over there. I guess they'll find their way over here. I don't know if anybody else was in there or not. Let's give folks a few extra minutes. No, Mary Grace, other stream wouldn't start. I had it all set up and went to start it and nothing. Wouldn't even give me an error message. It just would not start. So I real quick, it was like just 2 or 3 minutes before start time. So I real quick set up another one. Didn't have time to put the title on it, and just put redo. And that's what I told them in the comments over on the other one. Just go to redo. I don't know if that made much sense to anybody. Hey, JR. And Patricia's in the house. Nathan's in the house. Cool, we're getting a few in here. Didn't know if anybody was going to make it after the mess up on that other start to the stream. JR Shane is probably in his truck headed for Florida, and he might be over on the other stream. I had a stream set up that said the title was something like breaking all the channel rules or something like that, and then it wouldn't start. So then I set this one up real quick. And I don't know if he's stuck over there, doesn't know that I started this one. I typed in a real quick message on comments. I don't know if he saw it. So hopefully Shane will find his way over here because I want to pick on him a little bit. JR, that fake crab might be fake, but that stuff is good. I don't care what anybody says. All it is cod. How they make the cod taste like crab, I don't know, but they do. Hey, Kayla. How you doing today? Kids, you ready for the kids to drive you nuts for the next 2 weeks? Most of y'all know Kayla. She's my daughter-in-law. She's over in Chatsworth. And the Murray County schools are shut down for 2 weeks. Everything around here is shut down for 2 weeks. That's what I'm going to be touching on this video. I had what I thought was going to be a good introduction for it. Oh, hopefully I was going to get a little bit of humor in it. I guess that's gone to pot. That's what the alcohol was for, and the Clorox wipes were for. I'll still use Clorox wipes, give you some information off of that. But my intro, it's not going to make it. I might stick it in a video this week. I don't know. Let's see. Never happened, JR. I'm not saying it shouldn't. I'm saying it's never going to happen. Oh, okay. They're not going to stay with them a whole 2 weeks, are they, Kayla? Well, Patricia, just right here close. You got to understand, I'm in a rural area. I would figure it would be a low-risk area. Pickens County, where I live, is shut down. Next county south of me is Cherokee County, which is the north end of Metro Atlanta. Their schools are shut down. Go north of me, Gilmer County is shut down. North of that, Fannin County is shut down. Over there where Kayla is, Murray County is shut down. Let's see. Drawing a blank. What county's Cartersville? Bartow County. They're shut down, which is understandable. They're right on Interstate 75. And with all the traffic up and down 75, I would consider that a good corridor for carrying disease. And Gordon County, which is drawing a total blank. Town over there close to north of Carswell. Anyway, they're shut down. Calhoun, Georgia. Dalton State College. Everything around here is shut down. It's crazy, and that's what I'm going to get into on this. Let's see. Hang on a second. Shane made it in. And Dave made it in. Dave, you weren't doing anything wrong. I was. I set the stream up to be that other one where you were, and then it wouldn't start. So then I had to set this one up real quick and just left people hanging, hoping they would stumble their way in over here. So it wasn't your screw up, Dave. It was mine. And Shane, shame, 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 shame on you. I thought I had a new livestock I was going to be raising. Yeah, I saw that video that you posted a couple hours ago. Raising rattlesnakes. And I thought, yeah, smoked rattlesnake meat. That's good. That'd be good livestock to raise. Then I go over there and he's raising rattlesnake beans, which are good, by the way. But talk about a clickbait title. I thought I was going to go over there and see that he had found a nest of rattlesnakes underneath a chicken coop or something. Let's see. Can't let him get too far ahead of me. Hey, June. Okay, we'll see you. I'll see you in the comments this week, and we'll all see you next week. Tell your boss good luck in his new job. Let's see. See, Shane, you had Mary Grace thinking she was going to see rattlesnakes too. Hey, Don, how you doing? All right. Here's enough in here. Let's get into what today's about. Now, if y'all saw the title to what was supposed to be the live stream, it says that I was going to break my channel rules. Mainly one rule. For today only. Let's see. Breaking my no politics rule. Boy, am I going to break it wide open. But I'm not going to pick on one side or the other. I want to talk about our little illness that's running around the world. I was going to have a nice, funny little intro. I've got some alcohol out here and some Clorox wipes out here. I've got a bandana over here, and the very start of this thing, I was going to get a little, tell you, hang on a second, I got to get ready for this. I was going to put a little alcohol and scrub my face, and I was going to get these Clorox wipes out and wipe my face down, put my bandana on, so that, and then I was going to tell you that, okay, it'll be safe for us to talk now. And then had the technical issues getting the live stream started, so that's out the window. Don't have a use for the alcohol anymore. However, I do have something that I want to point out to you with these Clorox wipes here in a few minutes. Now, I'm going to give you my opinion about what's going on with all this. On the off chance I'm wrong, I got a message for parents of children children, 18 down. All these kids that are out of school. Be parents, not your kid's best friend. And don't be looking for ways to make it easier on you that they're out of school. Now, why do I say that? Well, the reason for the schools closing is for social isolation. It's to keep the kids apart so they don't go passing it back and forth, and this kid that's sick making this kid that's not sick, who takes it home and makes his family sick, and then mom and dad go to work and make them sick. The whole point of closing the schools down is so the kids are all isolated at home and it's not passing a whole bunch of stuff around. That means don't take your kid to the bowling alley because he's not in school to kill time. You'll make everybody in the bowling alley sick, or if anybody in the bowling alley is sick, it's going to make your kids sick. Don't be going to sit-down restaurants because you're going to make everybody in the restaurants. Imagine the fact that here, your kid's got COVID-19, and you go to a restaurant, and he sneezes. Okay, first of all, he's going to get stuff all over everybody's food at the table, which all of y'all are already exposed anyway. No big deal. But then the waitress has to come and pick up that plate when you're done eating. Now she's got it on her. And she's going to take it to the kitchen where the dishwasher has to deal with it. Now he's got it on him. And the fact that you wouldn't cook and instead took your kid out to eat, you've made a waitress and a dishwasher sick who will then take it to their families. The whole point of the schools being closed is social isolation. And let me tell you something else. My wife works at Walmart, okay? Schools are not closed so that you can take your kids to Walmart. And while you're in the back of the store fighting over that last package of toilet paper, your kids can go run all over the store yelling, raising all kind of hell and disturbing other people and sneezing and coughing on them or getting sneezed and coughed on. Taking your kids to Walmart is not social isolation. That's not the point of the kids staying home from school. And for you people who have kids who are older, teenagers, they have driver's licenses. They're out of school for 2 weeks. They want to go take the car, go to their friend's house, everybody get together and go to the mall. No, that's not the whole point. You tell your kid to stay their butt at home, which is the point. And if your kid says no, take the car keys away from them. And if your kid raises hell about taking the car keys away from them, sell the car. Right now, people need to be being parents, not their kid's best friend. Yeah, I'm kind of irritated about that. I'll tell you at the end of this why I'm irritated about this whole coronavirus thing. Because frankly, I don't think it's that big a deal. You want my opinion? Coronavirus, COVID-19, is just another version of the flu. Remember H1N1 2009? That was supposed to kill all of us. Yeah, right. And there's been SARS, and there's been, I don't remember all of them, swine flu. There's been all kinds of flus. And every one of them was going to be some huge, tremendous, make the whole world sick and half of us die thing. We're all still here. And frankly, I think the same thing is true of COVID-19. Now, do I think there is a new strain of flu this year? Yes. There is a new strain of flu every year. That's why last year's vaccines never worked this year. That's why I won't get a flu shot. Because this year's flu shot is based on last year's flu. This year is always a new flu. Last year's flu shot doesn't do a bit of good. So I don't get flu shots. Never get the flu either. But yeah, COVID-19 is a new form of flu, but that's all it is. It's just another new form of flu. Now, why is it been made up to be this great, big, huge thing? That's where I break the channel rules and start talking politics. Y'all know I'm politically conservative. No, I'm not Republican, by the way. Republicans quit being conservative years ago. I used to be real involved in the Republican Party in the state of Georgia, and I hadn't been a member of the Republican Party in a long time. I don't vote party. I vote for the person who I think is going to do a good job. But I'm going to break my politics rule because I don't think the Republicans or the Democrats created COVID-19. I think it came from right where everybody's saying it came from, Wuhan, China. How it got loose over there, I don't know if it was a biological weapons lab and it got loose. I don't know. But I think that's where it came from. But I do believe, everybody know who Rahm Emanuel is? Former mayor of Chicago, former head advisor to Barack Obama. He made a statement one time. And that statement was, never let a good crisis go to waste. And here's where I think all this is coming from. All this big media is coming from about COVID-19. The Democrats have tried everything in the world. I don't care if you like Trump or not. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. Vote for who you want to. But if you don't like Trump, if you're a Democrat that doesn't like Trump, so far, Russians, that's been shot down. Collusion, that's been shot down. Ukraine, that's been shot down. Impeachment, that's been shot down. Now we got COVID-19, and it's not getting shot down, is it? There's only one thing that will stop Trump from being reelected, and that's a destroyed economy. What's been happening to the stock market in the last few days, the last week or two? Never let a crisis go to waste. COVID-19 pops up, and all of a sudden we have a pandemic. Oh, by the way, who declared COVID-19 to be a pandemic? It wasn't the CDC. It was the World Health Organization. World Health Organization, which is a United Nations organization. A United Nations that hates the United States guts. They don't want to see Trump elected because Trump's a disruptor. Trump and Bernie Sanders are so much alike it's not even funny. Sure, one's a capitalist and one's a socialist, but methodology, both of them are sick of the garbage that goes on in Washington. They're disruptors, and that screws with the people that have been in power for years. And they don't want him reelected. And the World Health Organization called it a pandemic, which I find interesting because what we have is Democrats taking advantage of COVID-19. Never let a crisis go to waste. We have them taking advantage of COVID-19. And I think instead of calling it a pandemic, we ought to call it a dem panic. That's where I think it came from. All this hype. Media's on the Democrat side. The Democrats were desperate for something to try to win in November. And with a good economy, they didn't stand a chance. So let's get the media jumping on the bandwagon and let's make COVID-19 be a much, much, much bigger thing than it really is. And the economy suffers, which is the only thing that's going to get Trump beat. So they found a crisis and they're exploiting it. That's what I think's happening. Am I perfect? No. Do I know everything about politics? No. If I did, somebody in Washington, D.C. would be paying me $1 million a month for my advice. But that's what I think. I might be wrong. Now, why am I getting so upset about all this? If it's the way I believe, then all I got to do is just sit here and everything's going to be cool. All right, here's why I get so upset about it. All this crap, all of this hype, all of this fear-mongering just may kill me. Yeah. They're talking about an overloaded healthcare system. They're talking about everybody who sneezes twice, they get them so scared they're going to be showing up at hospitals. They're talking about 6 people for every bed. They're talking about 15 people for every ventilator, 15 people that need ventilators. They're talking about 10 people for every for every bed they've got in an ICU. And I've got major surgery coming up. And my surgery is not optional. As of when that PVE was done a month ago, my surgery happens or I die. If there's no beds in the hospital, can't operate on me, can they? Doctor can't cut me open, sew me up. Half an hour later, when the anesthesia wears off, tell me to go home. Got to be a bed in the hospital for me. And the way they're talking about the possibility of this panic overwhelming the healthcare system could just make it where there are no beds for me at the hospital when I have to have the surgery. Have to have the surgery or die. So yeah, I'm pissed off about the Democrats and the media and everybody blowing up what I think is not a minor thing. Sure, it's going to kill some people, especially older people. 80,000 people a year die of the flu in this country anyway. Yeah, I don't think that number is going to change much with this. but it pisses me off because of the effect it has on me. I'm being selfish here. I want there to be a hospital bed available on April 13th. That's when my surgery is, April 13th. And if the next procedure is necessary, again on April 23rd. I want there to be a hospital bed. I don't want it full of people who have been fear-mongered into flooding the system. So yeah, it kind of ticks me off what they're doing. Otherwise, I'd just blow it off. I'd say, ha, 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 look at all those people running to Walmart buying all that toilet paper. They've got the flu, which is causing them problems at this end, and they're buying something to clean up the other end. It's kind of stupid. But I just think it was funny, except it's not funny when it hits home. But y'all need, oh, and here's something else. They're blowing this up like the coronavirus was something new. No, coronavirus is not new at all. I don't mean not even in the last year or two. See these Clorox wipes? These things are dated. Yeah, wipes are stale dated too, just like food. These things are stale dated 6 years ago. On the back, there's some real tiny, tiny, tiny print. And y'all won't be able to see it, but right where I found it the other day, let me see. Ah, there it is. In this tiny little print, y'all are going to have to go get some of these Clorox wipes to find out if I'm telling the truth. But on the back, right there in that tiny little print that tells you what kind of germs these wipes will kill, guess what it says? Coronavirus. I think 7 years stale dated. Coronavirus isn't something new that just popped up. It's just the Democrats' crisis that they don't want to let go to waste. Whew. Boy, I just blew my rule about no politics all out of the water, didn't I? Not to mention stepping on a few toes. Parents that won't control their kids and let them run crazy in Walmart and won't make them stay home, which is the whole purpose of social isolation, why the schools are out. If I look over here now and it tells me how many people are left watching, I might have 2. No, actually I got 14. I probably stepped on some toes. I did. Sorry if I offended you, but I'm not sorry about anything I said. I don't try to offend people, but if you get offended, that's your problem, not mine. So now I'm going to look over here and I'm going to read the comments and see how many of y'all are just telling me what a sorry bum I am or that I don't know what I'm talking about or whatever. Let's see. What's over here? Wanda Allen, how you doing? Let's see. Oh, I've left one thing out, and I'll touch it on it in just a minute as soon as I read these comments. Okay, here's what I hadn't gotten to. There is something good in all of this. Yeah, there's something good in all of this. Something that I didn't know, and I guess some of us did. I kind of have a feeling Drifter stays pretty aware. Of course, I stay pretty aware too, and I didn't know this. I knew a lot of stuff is made in China. I knew a lot of stuff that's important was made in China. What I didn't know is that 95% of our antibiotics are made in China. What I didn't know is that 80% of the raw materials to make the other 5% that aren't made in China, 80% of the raw materials come from China. China hates our guts. China wants to be the sole power running the world. You talk about New World Order, one world government. China wants to be it. And they make all of our antibiotics, not to mention other drugs, not to mention lots of other things that are critically important infrastructure. China makes almost all of our antibiotics. Can you imagine if China were to just quit selling us antibiotics? How long would we last? But we have turned over in the chase of a cheap product. We have allowed our critical infrastructure to be outsourced to China. And you know what about that China stopping selling us antibiotics? They've threatened to do so in the last week. They've told us that if we want to keep playing hardball on this coronavirus thing and blaming them, blah, 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 they'll just quit selling us antibiotics. Now, what do you think happens to us then? No antibiotics, or only 5% of what we've got now. We'd be in serious trouble. That has begun to come to light that most people didn't know about. And the one good thing that's going to come out of all this is I think, or I hope, it will start an America first attitude toward our critical infrastructure products. I hope people will quit saying, I gotta have it the cheapest I can get it, and start saying, I've gotta have it the least expensive I can get it made here, where nobody else can come take it away. That will be a good thing that comes out of all this, I hope. But beyond that, this is all a bunch of bull, and there's not a lot of good in it. Okay, here we go. Patricia, closing the schools is a good idea. Closing the schools and then the parents not using those 2 weeks for what they're supposed to, that's the bad part. Shane, it's not just 95% of painkillers like ibuprofen. 95% of all of our antibiotics. Ibuprofen just makes you quit hurting. And it doesn't do that good of a job, at least not me. But antibiotics, we would have major problems without antibiotics. Wouldn't be just a matter of your sore toe is still sore. Yeah, Wanda, we can make drugs. We used to. We used to make our own, and we can do it again. Cranking everything up, getting it going, no, that's not a 2-day job or a 2-week job, but it won't take long if we'll just go do it now that we've seen what happens when we don't. But everything that is critical to this country, electronics for defense weapons, antibiotics and other drugs, food supply. Our food supply needs to be sourced here. And do you know, if you go to the store and buy pork, which since I used to raise pigs, y'all know I don't think much of store about bought pork. But do you know if you go to the store and you buy pork, if that pig started on a farm a mile from you, do you know how far that pig has traveled before it gets on your plate? About 16,000 miles. Because slaughterhouses in this country are being taken over and shut down by Chinese corporations. And now they kill them here, freeze them, put them on a boat, send them to China, where it's all processed, packaged, and sent back over here and put on your store shelf. Yeah. That pig that spent all of its all of its life a mile from your house, it's been to China before it gets on your plate. Same with chicken. Chicken plants are closing down. Um, you can't rely on somebody who hates your guts for your food and your medicine. You just can't do it. That's just begging for problems. That's okay, Mary Grace. When you post stuff, it's worth reading, so I guess it's worth reading twice. Oh, me. So was that enough of a rant? Probably made a whole lot of people mad, especially the ones when I'm talking about kids running wild. Yeah, Drifter, it is, but that can't be what it, if we want to survive, it can't be all about profit. I mean, everybody needs to make a profit. I understand that. I have no problem with that. I'm a 100% capitalist like you wouldn't believe. What I'm not is a corporatist. It's hard to describe the difference, but I'm all for a company making a profit. Shoot, in this country, a company is legally required to attempt to make a profit for its shareholders, unless it's a nonprofit. If they don't try to make a profit, if they say, oh, well, if we break even, we're doing good for the community. Now, we're not a nonprofit, we're not a charity, but, we'll be happy to make, just break even. The shareholders can throw those people in jail. They're legally required to try to make a profit. I have no problem with a profit. What I have a problem with is trying to squeeze every last dime out to the point that you put our critical infrastructure in peril. That's what I have a problem with. We need to bring everything back home that's critical. Now, we need to bring other things back home too. But if it's critical to the survival of our country, whether it's defense, electronics, or drugs, or anything, if it's critical to our country's existence, it needs to be made in the United States, period, end of discussion. To heck with this globalism crap. I don't want to take care of France or Italy or England until I've taken care of America. You can't help your neighbor if you haven't helped yourself first. Amen, Patricia. Tricia and JR, you're both absolutely right. Tricia says people just want stuff handed to them. Yeah. And JR's got a quote from Lennon. I don't know how many of y'all actually read comments and how many of you just listening to me, but you read comments. JR quotes Lennon, who did say what JR says. Capitalists will sell us the rope which with we hang them. I don't know if it was Lenin, one of the Soviet, might have been Stalin, also said that they didn't need to invade the United States. And it was the Soviet Union that was saying this. And the same thing applies now, just shift it to China. They didn't need to invade us. We'd do it to ourselves. We are. Don? Yeah, but the cheap stuff's made overseas. You know that Russian stuff? Drifter, I don't think it's that kids don't want to get their hands dirty. I think that's how they're pushed. I think it's that's how counselors in high school are constantly pushing kids to go get a college education, whether it's appropriate for that kid or not. Counselors are pushing, pushing, pushing. Go to college, go to college. And do you know why they do that? Do you know that college associations, colleges have associations just like everything else. Do you know that college associations actually pay high school counselors to push kids toward college instead of toward trade schools or instead of toward apprenticeships in the trades or anything like that? I think that ought to be illegal. I think any counselor who takes money to push a kid one way or the other instead of toward what's appropriate for that kid, I think that counselor ought to go to jail. But counselors are paid to push kids to college. Dang, Nona Grace, I am popular in your house. It'd be nice if you had enough people to be crowding the screen on all three of them. Mary Grace has me going on 3 different devices. That's one thing I like to talk about trade schools and learning a trade. Everybody knows who Micro. I assume everybody in here knows who Micro is. If you don't, you remember the guy that did the show Dirty Jobs? That's Micro. By the way, little piece of trivia. Do you know what Micro's formal training and education is? It's not as an actor. It's not in TV. Before I say what it is, I'll give y'all a second or two to post it. Let's see if anybody knows it. But that's what I like about what he does. He now has an organization that promotes kids learning trades. And I think that's just absolutely awesome. And he's having a pretty good impact. Nope, Drifter, he wasn't a teacher. That one's not even close. Well, then, Patricia, go do it. Nope, he wasn't a machinist. Or is that what? Mary Grace, you think he was a machinist, or are you just saying that's another good job? Y'all ain't gonna believe this when I tell you. It just blew my mind when I first heard it. All right. Hey, let's talk about prepping. You coming in on the tail end. We don't have but a little bit more to go in here, but welcome. Micro from Dirty Jobs and from his new endeavor of pushing kids toward trade schools is a classically trained opera singer. Blew my mind when I first heard that. Oh, hang on just a second. Speaking of Micro, let me show you something. Speaking of Micro, if y'all want a good book to read, and I don't make a penny off of this, there you go. Micro, The Way I Heard It. That is a good book. It's a series of stories. It's put together sort of along the lines of, remember Paul Harvey's The Rest of the Story? This is just a book with, 13, 14 stories that are put together kind of Paul Harvey Rest of the Story style. But it's a really good book. And enjoyed the heck out of it. And if y'all want a good read, go pick it up. Let's see. Well, JR, they're behind because Chicago shut down. All kinds of people are shutting down. George Jones and Waylon Jennings would be crying. JR, that one went right over my head. Gonna have to explain that one. He wasn't any competition for George Jones and Waylon Jennings. He was an opera singer, not a country singer. Speaking of George Jones, y'all do know that he is the greatest country singer that ever lived. And he sang the greatest country song that has ever been written. He Stopped Loving Her Today. Greatest country singer of all time, greatest country song of all time, George Jones. Oh, okay, JR. Okay, makes sense. Oh, especially in Nashville. Of course, I'll tell y'all what, Nashville has gotten, you would think it was a, home of country music in the South. Nashville's gotten real liberal. It's about as bad as San Antonio, actually. Oh, man. And No Show Jones, not No Show George, No Show Jones, wasn't so much because of his alcoholism. There's an awful lot of singers that perform drunker than a skunk. But he did, most of the time he wouldn't perform drunk as a skunk. He just wouldn't show up. So he got a name as No Show Jones. I'll tell you who will show up drunk, and I wish they wouldn't. I'm not big on concerts. I've been to maybe 3 in my life. When I was 17, I went to Carowinds, which is Charlotte, North Carolina. Went from Valdosta, Georgia, which is South Georgia, right on the Florida line, to Charlotte, North Carolina, to see one person sing one song. As it turned out, I got a twofer. But went to Carowinds to see Chris Christopherson sing Why Me, Lord. And while I was there, I got to hear Rita Coolidge sing Your Love Has Lifted Me Higher. Another story, I know. I'm always getting off on the track, sidetracked on stories, but y'all might like this one. Chris Christopherson, famous country singer, excellent country singer. Do you know what he did before he was a country singer? This is kind of like the one about, had the question about Mike Rowe. Well, does anybody know Chris Christopherson's backstory? JR, they didn't used to cost too much money. You know what it cost me to see Chris Christopherson and Rita Coolidge? The cap off of a Coke bottle. Coke was doing the whole thing as a promotion, and all you had to do was everybody that wanted in had to have the cap off of a Coke bottle. Not the pull tab off of a can, the cap off of a bottle. You gotta remember, this is back when I was 17 years old. JR got it right, but it gets even better than that. Chris Christopherson used to be in the United States Army. Matter of fact, he was an officer in the Army. Chris Christopherson had a dream for his Army career. He wanted to advance and be an instructor at West Point. That was his career goal in the Army, to be an instructor at West Point. Well, as he was working his way toward that dream, he and some buddies, some other Army buddies, put together a little band, and they used to play little clubs around the base where they were stationed. And one day, there was what do you call it? Not a recruiter. There was a talent scout that was in one of those little clubs where they were playing. And after the show, he came up and introduced himself to Christopherson and the rest of them, and he said, y'all are good. He told Christopherson, he said, you especially, you're real good. He said, you're good enough, I will offer you a recording contract in Nashville right now. That's pretty good. Well, he said, I got to think about it. And the next day, the Army offered him his next assignment. And his next assignment was as an instructor at West Point. Now, you talk about being on the horns of a dilemma. But as we all know, Colonel Chris Christopherson chose a singing career. And it's a good thing he did, because I like listening to him sing. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I wouldn't pay money to go to a concert now. Number one, there ain't many folks left around worth listening to. Sure as heck ain't gonna listen to any of this modern stuff, even the country stuff, because there is no such thing as modern country music. There is wannabe country music. There's stuff that says they're country music, but they're not. But country music died when George Jones, Conway Twitty, when all those, when they went away, country music went away. There's pretend country now. Yeah, JR, he's a good actor, and he's a great singer. I think he made the right choice when he turned down his dream job of being an instructor at West Point. He probably would have been a good officer and a good instructor at West Point, but he's an awesome country singer. JR, that's kind of like NASCAR. Modern country's not country. NASCAR is not stock car racing anymore. Of course, it doesn't pretend to be. NASCAR quit being worth watching when they started racing Toyotas. NASCAR is supposed to be Ford, Chevrolet, and Mopar, Chrysler. You put anything else on the track, and it's not a NASCAR race. And the last NASCAR drivers, oh boy, I date myself here. Richard Petty, Cale Yarborough, Richard Pearson. Richard Pearson, my favorite driver of all time. Those were the last good NASCAR drivers. All this garbage today, they're just corporate guns hired to aim a car around the track. It's kind of boring. JR, everything George Jones did was a great song. Some were greater than others, but they were all great songs. He didn't do any bad music, I don't think. Well, folks, it's been almost an hour, and I ended my rant, 20 minutes ago? I wonder how many people I made mad. Hopefully not too many, but I just had to get that off my chest about COVID-19, coronavirus, call it whatever you want to. I think it's all just a bunch of hooey. Coughing like that reminds me. I'll tell y'all one more story. One more story, and then I'll let you go. Let's see. Friday evening. Wife got off at Walmart and came home. She got off. She works till 11 o'clock most nights, but she gets off on Fridays 4:15, 4:30. She got off Friday, came home. And there was a few little things we needed to pick up. Knew not to go back to the Walmart here where she works because she knew what was there. Nothing. So we went to the Walmart in LJ. Did I just tell this story toward the first of this? Somebody in the comments stop me if I'm about to repeat a story. I've already told you about the trip to Walmart in LJ Friday. Hey, Lynn, can't type and eat crawfish. Well, keep eating crawfish. That's the best part. If I had a choice between crawfish and typing, I'd be eating crawfish myself. Hey, Gene, I didn't see you come in. Okay, I didn't start telling a story. Okay, let me tell you a story about going to Walmart in LJ. So we went up there. It's a bigger store. The store here was an experiment when they built a small footprint store. Um, the one up in LJ is a super center. A lot bigger store, a lot bigger grocery section. So we went up there, and Cindy had been walking around on concrete in Walmart where she worked all day. I went in and knew what I wanted and went around. And most of what I wanted wasn't stuff I expected to be out. It might have been, but wasn't like I was expecting it to be out. I wasn't getting toilet paper, thank God. You hadn't been able to get toilet paper in North Georgia for a week now. Except, Mary Grace, you're right. The Dollar Generals still have toilet paper and other stuff. The big stores, Walmart, Publix, Kmart, no, not Kmart, Walmart, Publix, Kroger, Ingalls, all those big stores, they're out. But Dollar General still has toilet paper and other stuff. A little hint for all y'all out there. But anyway, I wouldn't want any of that stuff that I knew was going to be out. But there's a few things we needed. And I'm in there shopping. And by the way, there wasn't any pasta in the store. Pasta shelves wiped out. Canned soup, done, gone. Wasn't any. There's some bag soup left. There wasn't a stick of butter in the store. There was some fake butter, you know, that margarine garbage. There was some margarine there, but there was no butter. There were no eggs. No bread except for a couple of packs of hamburger buns and hot dog buns. That's about it. But anyway, I was on an aisle that had some stuff. I was getting some honey. If you saw my video the other day, the one about switchel, I was picking up 6 or 7 bottles of honey where I knew I'd be able to. I got a cat that's messing with the camera, making it bounce around. I wanted to get some honey so I could make switchel, you know, for the next few weeks in case that got low. So on that aisle, there was a lot of stuff. And the honey was about halfway down the aisle, and the aisle was full of people. I don't mean packed, but it was busy, okay? And I'm about halfway down the aisle, and I've got a couple standing next to me that were going the other way. And y'all have heard me on here when I have a coughing fit. I mean, sometimes it just drags on and on. I got started on a coughing fit. And I coughed and I coughed and I couldn't quit. Y'all have heard that on these live streams. I couldn't quit. And you know how when I'm doing that, I can squeak out. I can barely say something, but I really can't talk much. Well, I'm telling these people next to me, don't worry, I'm not sick. I'm a smoker. I've been smoking for 50 years, and this is my smoker's cough. And they started laughing. The reason they started laughing, we looked up and down the aisle. Nobody else could hear me say that, and they were gone. That couple next to me and me were the only people on that aisle, and it had been a busy aisle 15 seconds before. But when I started coughing, it cleared the aisle out. We could get whatever we wanted as long as it was on that aisle. I just thought that was kind of funny. So folks, I'm going to close this out. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. We got 10 in here, so a few have dropped out. We had 14. Give it a thumbs up if you like the video. I think everybody in here is a subscriber, but if you're not, hit that subscribe button, and when you do, ring the little bell so you get notifications on the next video I do. And y'all have an awesome day. And an awesome week. And an awesome year. I mean, just let everything be awesome. It's simple. Y'all know that. Same group in here is in here every week, and y'all are probably tired of hearing me say it, but I'm going to say it again anyway. Awesome days, weeks, months, years, lifetimes are easy, are simple. Not easy, but simple. Just remember, he is alive. Well, I'm about to say it backwards, but it doesn't matter. Same two facts, no matter what order you put them in. The tomb was empty, and he is alive. Now, I'll see y'all in the next video that I do this week, and if I don't see you there, I will see you next Sunday, 6 o'clock, for the next live stream. Until then, y'all have a great day.